Hi, and welcome to my video about I'm not good enough. The feeling of not feeling good enough for your parents, for your friends, for your life. You don't deserve the career you have or you're trying to achieve or other things. So I just really want to talk about where this feeling is coming from and why do we feel this way. The most of us, it's a really big topic. And the most of us are actually feeling this way. At some point. It's not about that we feel all the time this way, but at some point in our lives this feeling can come up. So where is this actually coming from? When we're young and when we're children, this is when this feeling is usually embedded into us. This is usually when something is happening, like, you've been playing the soccer game where you didn't play as well as you hoped to play, or if you have been doing certain, actions just to try to make your parents happy and you didn't succeeded. This is usually a feeling where you feel like you're not good enough. Often it's as well when you have siblings and your parents are just comparing the siblings and always saying like, oh, look what your brother is doing. Why are you not like this? Why are you not as good as your sister? Because she always has got A grades in school and stuff like that. And you just feel like that you're not good enough. Sometimes when our parents are fighting and have arguments or they have trouble in their lives, as a child you don't really understand that you are not the cause of the situation and that you can't change anything about it. And what we're trying to do as children is to make our parents happy. We're trying to make the situation better. And if you've been overseen or you just felt like you have failed in that what you're trying to do to help your parents, this is usually where the feeling of being not good enough is coming from. So when we start to feel not good enough, this is usually a situation in our life which has been happening, which kind of like caused or recalled this feeling why we feel not good enough. So what do I mean with that? Sometimes it can be a song which reminds you subconsciously of the situation, which will kind of like recall this feeling that you feel you're not good enough. Sometimes it can be a movie you see and there's certain scenes in the movie, or sometimes it happens like when you see a child on the street being treated the same way where you got really hurt, that you feel like that this feeling is being triggered and you're not feeling good enough. And all these old emotions are coming up throughout the day, or even sometimes it keeps holding on for a while. The other thing is, if you keep trying in your entire life to make your parents happy or make a certain person happy and you kind of feel like you're failing in it, this can as well like recall the entire feeling and emotion that you're feeling, or the thought keeps coming up that you are not good enough. So the question is what to do, because this is a normal thing. If this has been embedded into you and you kind of believed it when you were a child and you have been carrying it on for so many years inside you and this feeling keeps coming up, I don't say it comes up like every day, but sometimes it's like once a year or once every while. And it's kind of like a pattern of why it's coming up, because it's always a similar situation where it's coming up and when you feel this way. So what we should do is we should just acknowledge it when this feeling is coming up, so that we know that this feeling is actually a limiting belief of thinking and feeling not being good enough for something. So what do we do? When this feeling is coming up and you feel like you are not good enough for something, just pause there. Do not let go of all this emotion, and when you feel like, oh my God, I'm not good enough, and then what happens usually is when we feel this way, we create this emotion. When this emotion is created, our actions we take are always upon our emotion. So that means we feel not good enough, we feel bad about it, our actions will be, we take the actions out of this emotion, and the result will always prove that we are not good enough. I just say like a short example of like, I don't deserve this life, or I don't feel like I deserve a successful life. So as an entrepreneur, what usually is happening, you will feel limited, and you will take actions which will never create or help you to achieve this life which you actually desire. So this is kind of like you set up yourself for a fail here. Let's explain it a bit deeper. So when you have this emotion, for example, subconsciously you start choosing for clients which will set you up for a failure, or clients which will never help you to achieve the desired lifestyle. This is what we are doing. We're just sabotaging our own life. And I want you to understand this. So once this feeling is coming up, this is why we step back a little bit and just like look at it and say like, okay, this feeling just came up. What has been, triggering this feeling? What has been happening in my life? Why I feel this way? Once you understand this, let's start to go back. To start to be able to let go of this feeling, it is important for us to heal first. So how do we heal? Like, one of the things is to understand for us, when did I feel the first time like I'm not good enough? So just like whenever this feeling will come up, or maybe already came up for you, or even it will come up, so you can do this question to yourself anytime, and just ask yourself, when was the first time in my life when I felt not good enough? And usually it's a situation when you were a child or in young age, and then just like observe the situation without having the emotions, because when we were young, why we felt this way is because certain emotion came up. So looking back without this emotion, just look back on the situation, usually what happens is you find out that this is not true. There was a situation where you maybe have not delivered in your life which you would wish to have in a certain way, to play better soccer, play a better piano, be a better child in a certain way, be a better student, whatever it is. So the thing is, just send a lot of love to yourself. It's usually like your inner child, and just understand that you have been good enough, that you have been doing the best you could, and feel compassionate for you. You were a child, or you were like young, and it's totally okay. So this is a first step of how we can start healing ourselves when we feel like we're not good enough. The other thing is, you will read a lot about affirmations. I think affirmations are an amazing tool if it's the right thing for you. With not feeling good enough, we have to understand that when you have this feeling embedded deep inside you and you really believe it, if you say at the same time, I am good enough, this will not help you. Because this is an affirmation which will be difficult to believe for you in this moment. So if an affirmation does not cause happy feelings and joy and makes you smile and makes you feel very positive about it, it's actually not working, or it will not work as good. So the information which you should say should be something where you feel really good about and you feel very positive about. So if this does not work, this is something which, where we have to go a little bit deeper. So only affirmation will not work here. So it's for us really to go back into the situation, as painful as it is. And when you get back into the situation where you felt the first time of not being good enough, a lot of old emotion can come up. This can be anger, this can be crying, this can be like you want to punch your pillow. And which is really important is like when you feel really angry, just take your pillow and scream into it and just leave these emotions, allow them to be instead of suppressing them. So when we allow them to be, this is where we can start healing. These emotions need to free up. And it's as well like really good to, when we do that, to allow them. It's like if you feel like crying, just cry. Just let yourself, allow yourself to do this. And this is the first step where we start healing, where we're allowing and we're just releasing a lot of emotions, of suppressed emotions over the whole years. Just really feel this emotion, let them out, and you will start feeling better already. And it's as well important to understand, to go back to the situation and understand that you have done the best you could. And, you're not there to help other people to be happy or like to please other people. We can only support other people, but we can't change other people and their behavior. Whatever there was happening, the important thing is that you have done the best you could and that you feel good about yourself. So it's not about proving yourself to others, but just like live a happy life and be happy and just be compassionate about yourself and the great human being you are. So why we really want to do this healing and to understand where this whole feeling is coming from or limiting belief is coming from is as well so we can stop sabotaging our life. I've been talking to quite a few people, and the thing is that I've been doing it myself, where I have a belief of like I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy of love, I'm not worthy of anything really good. So, and this is just because I was as a child always compared to my sibling, and I was always kind of like, I had my mind, I did whatever I wanted. And if I figured out in school all I need is like just to pass the exam, I wouldn't sit for extra, 2 days to study just to have in the end the same result, because my life hasn't been changed. So I would choose joy over studying a whole day and just get a worse mark. And then what's happening, I would be compared to my brother. And then it's just like, oh, look at your brother, he's always having good grades. And you, like, what will be happening with you in your life? You will be probably just like a cleaning lady. And it kind of really got stuck into my head. And just by this kind of sentence, what has been saying to me, which, it's like they meant it in a good way, of course, because they wanted to support me. They wanted that I study more and I will get better grades and I can study and all that stuff, just having a better life. But it just really got stuck into my head that I'm not good enough. And every time when I start succeeding in my life and business is going great, what I do is I will sabotage it or sabotage my behavior so that I kind of like limit myself to actually grow even further. And this is a very typical thing what entrepreneurs have and do when they have a limiting belief. So this is what we have to understand, where it's coming from, to heal properly, to understand that you are good enough, that you are worthy, what you deserve in your life, what you want in your life, and stop sabotaging to not to fail in your life, but kind of just to limit yourself, not getting to this point. And this negative emotion is something which we don't want in our lives and what we want to cut out, especially if it's a limiting belief. Once we went through the first step of understanding that it is a limiting belief, that it is not true, it is time to let go of it. And this is just like when you love yourself, be compassionate about yourself, be compassionate about what happened, and just let go of it. And from now, every time when this feeling is coming up, it is, a limiting belief. You know that it's something which no longer serves you and which can create patterns, or maybe has created patterns in your life why you have reacted or acted a certain way in your life. And so what we want to do is really to, just acknowledge it, know where it's coming from, understand how the situation really was, and if it's correct or not. Usually it's not. And then send a lot of love to yourself and be compassionate about yourself and let go of this limiting belief. You will find trouble to be completely and truly happy when you have this limiting belief or a few of these limiting beliefs. So this is important for us to understand, and I really hope this helped. If you have any questions or you have a story to share which is similar, or you have similar feelings, just comment below. I love to hear from you, and I hope this helped you, and I see you in the next video.